Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Revue. It's our local to global series. We are in September of 1999 now, which can mean only one thing, and that is that we have the 4th anniversary show about to take place in about a week's time. Before we get there, though, we have got some things to do in this series, and the first thing we're going to do is look to sign some individuals. That's right, we're finally going to make some new signings. It's been a while, but I have got in plan for the next show 2 new signings, both of which I intend to be heels. And guess what? I don't know who they're going to be yet. So that's fun. I did think about having a lightweight heel of some kind and a lightweight babyface of some kind, but I'm not sure who that's going to be yet. So we're going to take off the size limitations on this search. One thing I do know is we're going to sign Mark Henry. I've decided it's going to happen. We've looked at Mark Henry before. He has had some matches now. If you look at this, just a handful. In fact, I think that's all he's had. Oh no, he's had a number of independent bookings in the past. But yeah, he's now a bit more regular elsewhere. BCW, I mean, they're getting 1,400 attendances at their shows. Mark Henry was just a 19 there. His most recent match, he was a 21, so he's not performing particularly well. But I've got an idea for how I want to use him. So we're going to bring Mark Henry in. He's a very cheap talent, but he's a big guy, and that's what appeals to me about Mark Henry. So we're signing Mark Henry to a contract for the company. Who else do I want? I want a heel. As I said, I want somebody who can come in as an interesting, engaging heel. What about? Actually, I'm going to go with Doug Williams. I usually think about signing him and then don't sign him, but I feel like I want somebody like a technical, cold-hearted kind of guy, a heel as well. So we're going to bring in Doug Williams, who's even cheaper, although his travel costs will be quite expensive, obviously, because he's based in the UK, I assume. And that might be actually the reason why I don't sign him. Yeah, I think even though he would be quite good in that role, I don't think we're going to sign him for that reason. I mean, it's an unknown, right? I don't know how much it's going to cost me to bring him in. It might not be very much, but I just don't know, and so I'm just not willing really to take the chance at this point. So who can I bring in? Dean Malenko. Can I just first of all let's get this? Well, no, that's way too expensive. I think I've looked at Dean Malenko before and been like, no, too expensive. Um, but that would be the kind of guy. I mean, Greg Valentine might work. He might be somebody that we could do. He's not cheap, but he's not like completely prohibitively expensive. Hercules Hernandez, I have thought about as somebody to come in, not do the exact same role. Jerry Flynn, I'm not keen on MMA crossover types, if I'm honest. So I don't think that's going to be the answer to this question. I mean, Ken Anderson is now available at 23 years old, looking very funny indeed. Don't think that's where I want to go anyway. At this point, who can I get in to do this? I mean, we could get Low Key. He has appeared for us once as part of the show against Omega, and I do like his kind of general aura in terms of what I'm thinking about here. So he's a possibility, I suppose. I was looking for someone a little bit less flashy though. Um, Also someone with a picture, which I know I could go get a picture for Nigel McGuinness, but who's got time for that? Um, just looking through the list, I'm not seeing a whole lot of what I want here. Maybe Scott Armstrong, 40 years old, but 500 per show in the right sort of. Oh, he says currently available to work, but he's been injured a lot, which is interesting. Back injury, collateral ligament tear. Maybe he's just prone, but he's got good popularity. I'm going to get Scott. There's something about this, although he works for WCW, which might be a problem. Let's just have a look at his schedule. Yeah, he's not available on the Monday week 2, which is absolutely no good to us. So that's not where we're going. Where where else could I potentially bring in somebody? Has 1,500 per show though. I mean, that would have been a good. I think that would have been a good signing, to be honest. But he's just a bit too expensive, really, for what we're looking at here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. This is disappointing. I'm not seeing the wrestler I'm looking for. What's our parameters at the moment? So we've got active wrestler, can work in USA to hire, based in the USA. That's it. That's the only limitations we've got. And yet we really don't have an awful lot of options. There's not a massive, body of wrestlers. Maybe Adam Pearce could come in. Maybe. What do we think about Adam Pearce potentially? 3 years of experience. I feel like we've got a lot of wrestlers that are sort of similar to him at the moment. Um, so kind of ruling him out. Um, Bill Irwin, no. Yeah, this is proving annoying. I just want somebody. I mean, he could come in. He's 700 per show, which is pretty hefty. Brian Christopher. I wonder if we know about anything in his personal. No, there's nothing really untoward there. He's a possibility, definitely. Um, Chris Adams, maybe. Christopher Daniels, 1,000 per show though now for Daniels. Got Cabana, Craig Pittman, Dan Maff, Danny Basham. How about Danny Davis? Now he worked for Omega. He wrestled a match for me. Um, he only had an in-ring performance of 16 though, and I just think that's what we would get from him. Drozdov, Danny Doring, Evan Storm. Well, this was not how I expected this episode to start. I gotta be honest. Just filtering through all these wrestlers, of which most of them I'm kind of just ruling out instantly. There's nothing that's really taking my fancy in terms of spurring on some kind of thing. I was actually gonna have. I think I might just bring somebody in to lose. Actually, I think that's what I've decided. I'm going to bring somebody in to lose a match. So we could have Adam Pearce. Let's bring him in. We're only going to have him for one show. Yeah, Adam Pearce is going to come in because I did want just a nothingy match. That's fine. So I've got the two people I wanted in to fill in the gaps of the next card that I'm going to be doing. Just typing them in so I don't forget where they're going to go. But now we've effectively signed those two, we are finally going to say goodbye to Dog and Rose. It's been a journey. We've had they've done really well. Like, I cannot argue with the work they've done, but Dog and Rose are gone. They are no longer part of our roster. They will fall into my alumni list, of which now there are about 25 wrestlers, which is pretty cool, of people who've worked for us. And I've got their records as well. So one day I will release kind of the all-time records for this company. Maybe after we go 10 years or something, maybe 5 years, who knows? But anyway, that's Dog and Rose released from the company after such a long time. And we've got the 4th anniversary show in a few days' time. So let's go to that next player-controlled show. And let me take a moment here to thank you for joining me today and to ask you to give us a like if you're enjoying this episode. Although so far all we've had is me looking through wrestlers to find somebody that I actually want to bring in. So that's not perhaps the most exciting way to go. Mark Henry is in the building. That's good stuff. Anything interesting here in the news? Doesn't look like it will move on. But yeah, do hit the like button. Presumably, if you're watching today, which is episode, I don't know how many, you already will have enjoyed this series. So give us a like just to help us along. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to change, anything that you're really specifically enjoying. Thank you to those of you who have done that in the past. And subscribe, obviously, to the channel, because that's always a big help too. So we are in on the fourth anniversary show, and I'm quite excited about the plans that we've got for the fourth anniversary show. As everybody knows, I manufactured the title match to be the Shadow versus Bruce Hart. Let's look at the rankings actually, because this is how they stand. Obviously, you've still got Dog and Rose on this list at the moment. They will be removed in time for the next month, but here they are. And the Shadow is obviously the champion. Bruce Hart, though, has been manufactured as the number one contender, getting 2 victories on night 2 of the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza tournament, and therefore being given the number one contendership in what will be also Bruce Hart's retirement match. Win, lose, or draw, it's his last match. Now, that was the reason we manufactured Bruce Hart into that position, mainly was to avoid a heel versus heel situation with ECMO and Chemo being effectively the top contenders for the title. I'm not going to be able to avoid that, though, particularly much longer, because even like the Bruce Hart thing was a temporary fix for that. Because once Bruce Hart loses, and he will lose the main event of this show, he will drop down. Even if he was going to continue, drop down to 0 points, and ECMO and Chemo would then be the next two in line for a title shot. So, not exactly save myself the trouble in the long term, but we've put it off for now. I mean, look, there's an argument to say that I have Bruce Hart win the title here, and then the title goes on the line the title goes vacant, and then we have to do something else, which would save us the problem of ECMO and Chemo and that. But that's not the direction I want to go. I don't want the belt to be vacant. I don't really like the belt being vacant, so that's not what we're going to do. So the show, the fourth anniversary, we'll start with Buddy Wayne against Adam Pearce. In fact, we need to make sure Adam Pearce is a heel, which he is, and he's doing an old school heel gimmick. That's fine. Mark Henry is a heel, and he's doing the world's strongest gimmick. I think that's fine. I don't want him to be like, he'll be a monster heel, but not like a literal monster, if that makes sense. So Buddy Wayne versus Adam Pearce. This is going to be a regulation victory for Buddy Wayne, and I think the reason I'm doing it in the opener is that I feel like it's a nice parallel. This is the first match of the 5th year, I guess, of the company's history. Buddy Wayne was in the very first match in company history, so it just makes sense for him to be in the opener, and he gets a victory here. It's the only reason that I needed to use him in some way, and so that's why we've hired Adam Pearce. It also means I don't have to think too hard about what it is I want from the future for Buddy Wayne. So next we get Woman. She's going to be cutting a promo about the Shadow, who is going to be off screen for this, but also for and about Dave Batista, who's going to be off screen for this, but also then no, we will do that. So Woman says Batista should be sanctioned for trying to remove the Shadow's mask. So that's her main sort of complaint here. And then immediately after that, he is going to introduce. In fact, we're going to give this Menace. I think makes more sense to judge him on Menace. She's going to introduce Mark Henry as her latest charge. So her newest client is Mark Henry, and she's going to kind of hype him up a little bit. You know what we're going to do after? We're going to do that after the next match. So first of all, we're going to have a tag team match. Apologies for that. It's going to be Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan against Red Alert, C.W. Anderson, and Charlie Haas. We're going to have, in this one, we'll make it 11 minutes, and we're going to have Charlie Haas pin Ace Steel. So that's going to be the next match of the night. Then Woman's going to come out and do her stuff ahead of Mark Henry making his debut for the company, and he will be facing Kid Chaos. And this is just going to be a squash victory for Mark Henry. We'll make it 4 minutes. Mark Henry the winner. Domination for Mark Henry. pinfall finish. That's all it's going to be. And I envisage this, to be honest, being Kid Chaos's last match for the company as well. I already have an idea of a babyface I want to bring in to replace him. So I think this will be the end for Kid Chaos here in this one. Just ticking off what we've already done so that I don't miss anything, because occasionally I've missed things when I'm doing this stuff. The next match we want is going to be CM Punk versus Heath Hart in a singles match. We'll make it 9 minutes. Punk's going to win. We'll make it a tainted win with a pinfall finish. Actually, let's make this storytelling as well. We've got to do that somewhere, so we may as well do it here. So Punk, and then he is going to, after the match, challenge Buddy Wayne to a match, a one-on-one match. In the near future. So that's just to continue the storyline between those guys, which is still going. I'm just checking what stories we've got here. So we've got this one as well. And we've got Charlie Haas, C.W. Anderson as a team. Now, this feud might not be done. I was just about to say it might be done, but it's not. So, after that, we then get our two title matches. We've got two title matches. We've already talked about the fact that we've got a Northwest title match. Well, we've also got a tag team title match, and it will see Chemo and ECMO against Dave Batista and Shawn Stasiak again. This one's going to go 14 minutes for those Northwest tag team titles. But what's going to happen here is that Chemo is going to win. He's going to pin Shawn Stasiak. Pinfall finish, but it's going to be an outside interference finish. And this time it's going to be a bit strange because Ace Steel is going to interfere against Shawn Stasiak as the finish. And we're also going to have a distraction of Batista by Barry Buchanan. So for some reason here, Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan are getting themselves involved in the tag team title match. So that's the match for the tag team titles. We don't need an awful lot of time more to come here. So let's put the next bit into place, which is the Shadow versus Bruce Hart main event. Bruce Hart's last match, his in-ring retirement is here. We're going to make this 8 minutes because I don't think Bruce Hart's really capable of doing it any differently. And I'm going to have Bruce submit in this one. That's fine. I think it's quite poetic to have someone losing their retirement match. John Cena, for example. Yeah, he's still going to struggle with the match length. I'm really hoping that Bruce Hart carries him to something here. I think he's going to have to because Bruce Hart's not going to be capable of much. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to hope he does that. Bruce Hart then is going to cut his retirement speech. Keith's going to come out to join him on the stage, as is Buddy Wayne. Anybody else I want? Let's give Billy Kidman a chance to be on screen because he's or in the ring. Cause he's not on the show anywhere else. We'll have Charlie Haas and C.W. Anderson as well. There are some other baby faces, but I don't necessarily need them to be out there. I guess Kid Chaos can have his final appearance in this one. Don't want Batista and Stasiak there. So Bruce Hart cuts his retirement speech and says he's now focused on managing RWR. But then afterwards, he is interrupted by Ace Steel, who has got with him Barry Buchanan, Chemo, Why can't I find this menace button? And ECMO. There we go. And Ace Steel comes out and tells Bruce Hart that his biggest challenge is in front of him. And RWR is in trouble. Something like that. I haven't thought of a name, but this is a new faction, effectively, who have come together this night. And I'll explain the whys of that probably in the next show, but we will also go into a little bit more detail, obviously, when we run through the 4th anniversary show. So this is going to be it. We've got no problems with the booking analysis. We're not going to be penalised in terms of our percentage of matches. So yeah, quite a big show. Loads of stuff going on. As I said, this is always the anniversary show is always kind of a refresh after the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza, and that's kind of where we are now. So let's just be absolutely certain we got everything we want here. We do not. We need to assign woman to Mark Henry, who is going to have. Why can I never remember what this is? It's here. No. Here. Yeah. Manager woman. Hopefully they will have chemistry, because if they don't, that will be a problem. But there's our show. Let's go to it. Let's just get into it, shall we? So in front of 96 people, the 4th anniversary show begins with Buddy Wayne against Adam Pearce. Not a bad match here. Segment rating of 33. 7 minutes 42 seconds. A victory for Buddy Wayne by pinfall. Buddy Wayne had a 34 in ring. Adam Pearce just a 20. Which is not bad given he's never worked for us before. And the match got the show off to a strong start. Then we had the first of 2 tag team matches on the show. Red Alert defeated Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan in this one in 11 minutes 4 seconds when Charlie Haas pinned Ace Steel with a total hostility. It's got a segment rating of 33. Barry Buchanan was 34, Ace Steel 36. Charlie Haas is getting better. He's up to 31 here, but C.W. Anderson only a 24. But both their stories continue with this one, even though obviously that second one really shouldn't have advanced, but it doesn't matter. 7 rating of 33. We move on. So next up we have Woman. She comes out in front of the crowd alone, and she says that she's got some words to say to the RWR management and about Dave Batista. She says that Dave Batista last month during the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza tried to remove the Shadow's mask in a match, and that is an abomination, and that Dave Batista should be sanctioned by the Random Wrestling Revue for doing so. She says that she is calling on Bruce Hart to make this a matter of urgency once his retirement is official, once he has finally retired from in-ring competition. Second rating here, 39. Woman is really good in front of the crowd. Next up, we had Woman introducing her latest charge. The latest client of Woman is Mark Henry. He debuted his World's Strongest gimmick and got an initial rating of adequate, which is fine, but a segment rating here, 47, suggests that both Woman, in terms of her talking in front of the crowd, but also Mark Henry's menace, is a positive attribute. And yeah, really good segment here. Then Mark Henry defeats Kid Chaos in a segment rating of 7, and Mark Henry and Woman are a very poor combination. They do not click at all, which I imagine was the main thing that brought this down, because Mark Henry's performance was actually a 20 and Kid Chaos a 17. Kid Chaos was off his game, and that is a really, really unfortunate thing, Mark Henry and Woman being a poor combination. We'll have to figure out how we get around that, because I've introduced them now as client and charge. But there we go. Mark Henry wins his opening match in the company with 4 minutes and 5 seconds with a big splash. So then we have CM Punk against Keith Hart in a match that went 8:52, and Punk wins by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. A segment rating of 32, Punk a 33, Keith Hart a 22. Nothing much to talk about really here. A regulation victory for CM Punk. Then he, after the match, challenges Buddy Wayne to a one-on-one match in the near future. He says that Buddy Wayne and he We already know that he and Buddy Wayne had a little bit of needle in the six-man tag match that took place on night 2 of the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza, and Punk is now challenging Buddy Wayne to face him in a match. Punk can talk about here the fact that Buddy Wayne is a long-time hero of these fans. He was the first RWR North West Champion. He's got a legacy within the company, but that Punk is going to take that legacy away and become the new face of the Random Wrestling Revue. Then we have the tag team title match in a really, really good, fantastic heat, great wrestling. Samoan Violence Connection defeat Dave Batista and Shawn Stasiak in 13 minutes 50 seconds when Chemo pins Shawn Stasiak with a Samoan drop following interference from Ace Steel. During the match, we also had Barry Buchanan distract Batista. The Samoan Violence Connection make defense number 2 of the Random Wrestling Revue Northwest Tag Team titles. ECMO was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else. You can see he had a 28. Chemo a 48, though. Stasiak a 40. I mean, he's really been great, in my view. And also Batista a 38, so he's going really well. A segment rating of 42, one of the best matches in company history here. A great rematch, obviously, from the final of the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza tournament, which obviously Batista and Stasiak won. Really great match. We're still waiting on the Stasiak turn. We are going to continue without addressing it. Then the Shadow faces Bruce Hart, and look at that. The Shadow gets an absolutely amazing match out of Bruce Hart. A segment rating here of 40. Shadow's in-ring performance was 43, and Bruce just a 21, and he was off his game, and he was exhausted by the end. And yet the Shadow managed to carry him to something really worthwhile. He wins by submission in 7:56 and makes the third defense of his Northwest title. A great main event, actually. A really, really good main event. 2 excellent matches in the last 2 matches of the night. Really, really pleased with that. Then after, we know Bruce Hart needs to be booked smarter. After the match, Bruce starts to talk. In fact, before he starts to talk, Keith Hart, Buddy Wayne, Billy Kidman, Charlie Haas, C.W. Anderson, and Kid Chaos, a number of the baby faces within the company come out to join Bruce in the ring, and then Bruce cuts a retirement speech where he talks about what a great career he's had. He's really thankful for all the things he's done and all the opponents he's had and all the teammates that he's had. He's thankful for the Random Wrestling Revue roster and the support that they've given him. He says that this company has gone from strength to strength within the last 4 years, and his in-ring retirement is really just a footnote in what this company's history will end up being. He says that he is now going to focus on managing the company and making it as good as he possibly can. The segment rating here just of 19, so not very good, but not really expected anyway. And then after that, out comes Ace Steel alongside Barry Buchanan, Chemo, and ECMO. They are stood in the entranceway as Bruce and all the babyfaces stood in the ring. And Ace Steel comes out and tells Bruce Hart that his biggest challenge is now in front of him. He says RWR is in trouble. Here in front of Bruce Hart are 4 angry men who are ready to cause hell. And that is the end of the show. Segment rating here of 38, as Ace Steel seems to be at the head of this new grouping, which we will find out more about on the next event. And that is the 4th anniversary show. An overall rating of 40, so a really good night of action. The brilliant tag team match, a really, really good main event for the Northwest title. Some excellent segments, including Punk challenging Buddy Wayne, the final angle from Ace Steel, Woman introducing Mark Henry was great, although unfortunately her and Mark Henry don't have any chemistry when it came to the match. Just a really excellent night of action. I'm going to give Shawn Stasiak compliment. I'm also going to compliment the Shadow, who was excellent. And I think it would be remiss of me not to also say, praise for a great performance from Chemo, because he was excellent as well. So the good vibes continue within the Random Wrestling Revue for the 4th anniversary show. An excellent show indeed. Let's just have a look at our news. Adam Pearce gone, fine. Shadows left Omega. I assume he was still yet to perform in his lone appearance that we did a deal with them for. And that's pretty much all I want to do today. I'm just going to quickly check our size at this point. Still at 12. So, nothing's changed there at the moment. Top 100s. Fourth anniversary, fourth anniversary show is our second best show of all time. You can see now the top 5 are all shows that have happened since June of '99. So we are actually on a real sort of momentum at the moment in terms of our best shows. Also, that match for the tag team title was the 3rd best in company history, and the Shadow versus Bruce Hart was the 9th best in company history. So both also really, really positive as well. In terms of titles, obviously the Northwest title is still held by the Shadow. It's 3 defenses for him now. Current prestige is 30. Current prestige of the tag team titles is 31. That's been raised thanks to the tag team title reign of the Samoan Violence Connection. And lots to think about, lots to consider. And a next show is going to be very interesting indeed. So I hope that you join us again for that one. But until then, thank you very much for watching.